The Jurassic Park fandom is no stranger to dark theories, especially around the information released regarding Jurassic World 4's sinister and shocking discovery mentioned in the film's description. Theories on the plot range from human dino hybrids to naturally existing dinosaurs, but no theory is as dark as the one I am about to reveal. The crazy dark theory I'm talking about is Nazis. No, seriously. Nazis, just like in Indiana Jones. I will also go as far as saying that Nazis were pulling the strings of the Jurassic films through biosyn the entire time. One of biosyn's very Nazi-like attributes is their obsession with control. In Jurassic World Dominion, they tried to control the world's food supply and mind-controlled the dinosaurs in Biosyn Valley to contain them in their compound. Biosyn is also objectively political, based on this email from the Dino Tracker website. It references Biosyn working internally with the United States Congress. As far as evidence of the Biosyn Nazi theory, I'm going to start with Biosyn and the Nazis having similarities with the villains from the cancelled Jurassic Park 4 script. In this movie, the bad guys were located in an old Swiss Alps fortress, could mind-control dinosaurs, and were making human dino hybrids, which is reminiscent of Nazi Germany. The leader of these antagonists is Baron Hermann von Drax, Hermann being a German name meaning soldier. Suspicious. Biosyn, coincidentally, has a fortress in a European mountain range, the Dolomites. They can mind-control dinosaurs, and have a founder who also possesses a German last name, Bill Steingarten. I've gotta say, all the German parallels are getting pretty sus, but it gets even more suspicious. You know Ben's conspiracy desk from Jurassic World Chaos Theory? All his red threads of yarn on the world map go through one place, the coast of Suriname. I'd also like to mention one red thread is connected to the picture of Biosyn CEO Louis Dogson. In a set photo for Jurassic World Rebirth, we see a dock with the Suriname flag painted on it. You may notice how there are a lot of InGen logos in the set photos, not Biosyn logos, but this might not mean as much as you think. You see, in Jurassic World Dominion, if you look closely, there is an InGen logo on the car Maisie was in, even though it was a Biosyn car. As far as Suriname's importance, well, I think that it is where the Nazis in Jurassic World have been hiding. Because of all this, an island off the coast of Suriname is likely where the next film will take place, and the sinister shocking discovery hidden from the world for decades is that Nazis have been hiding on this island. Now I want to talk about the longest lasting evidence for the theory that has been in front of the world for decades. Before Jurassic Park 3, Biosyn clones the Spinosaurus for a project called Operation Regenesis, which doesn't make any sense unless my Nazi theory is true. To clone a Spino, amber is required, or an exceedingly well-preserved dinosaur skeleton. But there's one serious problem. Spinosaurus's original home in North Africa contains no documented amber, and if that is true, that means they would need a really good dinosaur skeleton. But there is another problem. No Spino fossil has ever been found with DNA inside. Also, Jurassic World isn't so keen on coming up with new dinosaur material, since the original Indominus Rex was at first going to be a non-hybrid dinosaur whose fossils were found in China and went by a different name. Some might think the Spinosaurus skeleton in Jurassic World was real, but the possibility of them keeping a real fossilized skeleton out in the open air is very small, since the tropical climate would expose it to extreme weather. The only Spinosaurus skeleton that hypothetically could have had DNA in it is the original Spinosaurus skeleton that was destroyed in the Allied bombing of Munich, Germany in World War II. Could it be the only way for Biosyn to clone a Spinosaurus is if someone, possibly Bill Steingarten, stole the bones before they were destroyed in Munich, Germany, and later used the DNA found in them to clone a Spinosaurus in 1999, 2 years before Jurassic Park 3. That piece of evidence is more speculative, but it would be very cool if the Spino and Steingarten, the founder of Biosyn, had parallel origins. So I have said speculative, but I think the theory makes loads of sense, mainly because Steven Spielberg, who is the executive producer of Jurassic World, directed Indiana Jones, where the Nazis are the villains, and also directed Schindler's List. Not to mention, the writer of Jurassic World Rebirth, David Koepp, wrote Indiana Jones' Dial of Destiny, where the Nazis appear in a semi-modern time. So let's say that Biosyn are neo-Nazis. What could be their end goal? My theory is that Biosyn, like the Nazis, is still trying to take over the world, just in a very different way. You see, on the canonical marketing website Dino Tracker, there is a secret Biosyn email where they hint at their goal and even that they have been pulling strings in these movies for decades. Someone working for Biosyn says,
"To be clear, I want you to make one of those entities that has been hacked. If news of this hack ever gets out, we'll just take the hit over our internal security concerns. Set up a press release shortly thereafter that shines a light back onto the miserable horrors of InGen and Masrani Global. After which we carry out a public contain and rescue event which wins us public support. We will rebuild the losses and begin to connect ties to government agencies. I can discuss in more detail when we next meet.
This quote sounds very similar to the first part of Jurassic World Dominion, where there is a news report that shines a light back onto InGen and Masrani Global. Notice the redacted word, which is very small and is likely Biosyn. This is important because Biosyn is an entity that gets, quote, hacked, and does end up taking the hit over internal security concerns, later revealing their corruption to the world. Now keep in mind that this fictional email is dated to 2018. I am suggesting Biosyn during Jurassic World Dominion was prepared and eager for their downfall in order to transform their company away from the public eye to tie themselves into entire governments. There is another part of this email where it states,
With the swiped from Lockwood, I think I can quickly find the location of and bring him here. He's been on the run since went under, so if we're gonna tie up our loose ends, I'll feel safer knowing where he is. And on that note, he cannot find out we were involved in the 99 research. Everyone wins if he remains under the impression that he was working with all InGen and Masrani's people. I hope our old friend is desperate enough for a paycheck. We've come so far. Now that I'm not even sure he's on our level, in fact, we never finished that research, might benefit all of us if he cracks it.
In this email, he is talking about a male someone who can do research and was working for Masrani Global. Dr. Henry Wu seems to fit this description, but does this mean he was secretly working for Biosyn? Could the Indominus Rex made by Dr. Wu have been a puppet of Biosyn to destroy InGen? Well, actually, it makes a lot of sense. Notice that in the email, he says with redacted swiped from Lockwood. What is there more important to swipe from the Lockwood Manor than a dead Indoraptor worth millions? How would they know about this unless they were involved? And we know the same people who created the Indominus Rex created the Indoraptor. Now look at the Indominus Rex disaster. Does it really look like an accident? Seriously, why didn't the pteranodons get shocked with electricity? Claire talked about how all the dinosaurs had electric implants that would shock them if they passed a certain point. Of course, pterosaurs aren't really dinosaurs, but do you really think Claire knows that? There is even a film theorist video about this topic, but instead of accusing Biosyn for being behind Jurassic World, he blamed Vic Hoskins and Dr. Henry Wu. But that begs the question, how would Biosyn infiltrate InGen so easily? Dennis Nedry's theft of genomes, the creation of the Spinosaurus, and the Jurassic World disaster, in this case, are all instances of Biosyn pulling strings through InGen. In fact, it seems like Biosyn does most of its work through InGen. Why is that? It's still a mystery. But why would Nazis want to go through all this trouble just to dissolve into governments? And what does this even have to do with their goal, Jurassic World, and dinosaurs? In the Jurassic World Rebirth bio, it talks of the characters getting DNA samples from the largest dinosaurs, aka the strongest, so they can make a drug that has life-saving benefits for humankind. Why is this needed? Could it be that dinosaurs have brought back old diseases that threaten humanity, like Ian Malcolm mentioned in Jurassic World Dominion? If the movie is loosely based off of the Lost World novel, dinosaurs in Rebirth are most likely carrying DX, which is not very dangerous to humans, but this is where the deception of Jurassic World Rebirth and the Nazis come in. In Jurassic World Rebirth, I predict the story will revolve around a disease caused by dinosaurs, and the Nazi-infiltrated part of the government will trick the main characters into thinking it's a threatening pandemic. So they retrieve DNA for a cure from the most powerful dinosaurs, but it's not actually for a cure. It is for making hyper-intelligent dino hybrids like in the original Jurassic Park 4 idea, to fight a war made from their manipulation of governments. Through this war, they will attempt to take over the world. That is their goal. It might sound ludicrous, but Jurassic World has actually been slowly evolving towards this the entire time, starting with the unnatural Spinosaurus amalgamation in Jurassic Park 3, the first hybrid dinosaur, the first hybrid weaponization, and finally in Dominion, the whole world discovers it is possible to genetically modify a human. Probably why Benjamin Lockwood kept it a secret from Mills. The stakes of Jurassic World Rebirth might be higher than everyone expects, but the information I have presented is just a theory. Feel free to comment what you think of my theory below. I might look closer into the specifics of this theory in future videos, so subscribe if you don't want to miss those.